Sorry for the inconvenience. Welcome back to Sakshi SRM University AP webinar. So here's some guests. Name of speaker, Dr. Omji Pandey. Dr. Omji Pandey holds his BTech degree in Electronics and Communication Engineering from Uttar Pradesh Technical University, Lucknow. Has MTech degree in Digital Communications from the Indian Institute of Information Technology and Management, Gwalior, and the PhD degree from the Department of Electronic Engineering, IIT Kanpur. He is currently working as an assistant professor with the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, SRM University, AP. Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Hi, thank you. Hi, thank you for the introduction. Yeah.
Sir, please continue with your session. And I have one question, sir. Do you have any international collaborations?
Yeah. I have multiple collaborations with the foreign universities. So they are going on. Yeah.
So please continue with your session.
Okay. Thank you very much. So request you that if possible, please allow me to share the screen.
Yes, sir. You can share.
Okay.
Start showing anything.
Yeah. So can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Just. So the screen is visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is a presentation on the behalf of Electronics and Communication Engineering Department, SRM University, Andhra Pradesh, highlighting the career opportunities for the students, facilities available, and the credentials of the department faculties. So the primary focus of this presentation is to highlight the advantages of electronics and communication engineering over computer science and software engineering. So from this slide, we can see that we, the ECE department, are not only working on the coding related to IoT and machine learning, we are also working on the hardware development towards development of efficient VLSI and embedded systems, RF and microwave systems, and in addition to development of intelligent IoT system, which is a demand of future job market. So essentially, we are working in the area of VLSI and embedded systems, signal processing, Internet of Things, advanced communication systems, artificial intelligence and machine learning, biomedical signal processing, RF and microwave, image and video processing, and robotics. So I just want to conclude on this slide, on this particular slide, that we the ECE engineering, electronics and communication engineering, is not only focused on the software, we are also focused on the hardware, which is giving more job opportunities with high package and stability in the job. So if I'm talking about the career opportunities for the students who are going to join us at SRM University with Electronics and Communication Engineering Department, we are having core jobs. For instance, we are having Intel, Apple, Samsung, Texas Instruments, and many more. So these are like hardware core companies, and they are going to provide the students a stable and high package job opportunities. Our public sector jobs are also pretty much focused with respect to electronics and communication engineering. And the example, Bell, NTPC, ONGC, ISRO, DRDO. And most importantly, there is a myth among the students and other communities that ECE is only focused on hardware and mathematics and physics. So it is not like that. We, the ECE department, also from the beginning itself, we are giving an opportunity to students to work on the coding aspects. And from the beginning itself of joining, when they will join over here, they will get a parallel courses, industry standard coding practice, which will give them a strength to get software jobs such as Infosys, TCS, CTS, Oracle, SCL. So another aspect is higher studies abroad, and this is very important factor because recently from ECE student 2017 batch, 6 students got higher studies offer from the universities abroad, which are falling under 100 QS ranking. So this is more important thing, and we are also having clubs here, which are helping to student to crack GATE and engineering services conducted by UPSC. So we are having clubs and we are helping students to crack these kind of examinations. Apart from this, we are having other opportunities such as finance, Navy, and Air Force. And our students are also getting these places. And another important aspect is entrepreneurship. And we are having a team idea, which is training our students to starting their own startups. So these are some highlights of opportunities, career opportunities for the ECE students. And now benefits of BTech in ECE, it is already I have mentioned that it is a degree of a combination of hardware and software, secured job opportunity, flexibility in higher education, and decide on jobs in government and private organizations, professional growth. As you can see that if you are joining a core company or PSU company, after a period of time, you will observe that yes, the growth in the package and stability in the job is more in comparison to software jobs. So high package core companies jobs are available with the electronics and communication engineering. And most importantly, we are having adaptability to other branches. For example, computer science, electrical and mechanical engineering. And high package central government jobs, for instance, ONGC, NTPC, ECIL. So these are the benefits of doing BTech in Electronics and Communication Engineering. And now coming to the benefits of BTech in Electronics and Communication Engineering at SRM University, Andhra Pradesh, we are having certain key features, which I just want to demonstrate in front of you, that we are having a team of faculty which are having their PhD degrees from IITs, ISC, and abroad universities. We are having industry read labs, which are time to time are updated. As per the industry and academia demand. We are having electronics lab, communication systems lab, which I will show you in coming slides. So we are also having 2 core research funding, and apart from these 2 core research funding, we are also funded by startup research grant by DST. So a core research grant, we are having artificial intelligence enabled early detection of cervical cancer and studies on the prognostic values of alteration on thyroid hormones. So we are also having board of advisories where the directors of IITs, renowned professors from the IITs and IASC, and eminent industrialists are guiding us, and they are helping us to develop our curriculum. After this, we are having a student abroad program that is called as SAP. And our students are getting an opportunity to study for a semester abroad with the universities such as University of California, Berkeley. And recently we are also starting one tuning program where the student will study for 2 years at SRM University AP and 2 years in IIT Chicago. And finally, on the completion of the degree, he will get a degree, undergraduate degree from IIT Chicago as well. So we are having a student research internship. Like students, we are having plenty of collaborations with abroad professors, and they are guiding our students from the beginning itself, and such as NTU Singapore, Georgia Tech University USA, and University of California, Davis USA. So we are also having a student industrial internship, and where the students can join industries for a time being, and they can learn the things from the industry itself. And most importantly, we are having a center for academic assistance, and this is unique feature with the Electronics and Communication Engineering department, where from the beginning itself, we are guiding our students to build their fundamental concepts, and we are helping throughout their journey, academia journey here at SRM University, Andhra Pradesh, and we are guiding them that how to move forward in their academic career and various other careers. So coming to facilities available, we are having electronics laboratory, and electronics laboratory is one of our state-of-the-art laboratories, especially designed for electronic circuit related courses. And here NI-LVIS boards are connected to a LabVIEW software, which is installed on the computer so that a student can experience software and hardware simulations for designing the circuits. So this is a demonstration of this illustration of electronics laboratory. This is communication systems laboratory, and this laboratory is suited to give students a practical hands-on experience in building communication systems, starting with basic building blocks for implementing and verifying various modulation schemes. So this is quite interesting, and we will be glad if the students will join and we can give a kind of experience and our inputs to them. So coming to microprocessors, microcontroller interface lab. So essentially the students gain programming skills in 8085 assembly language and interfacing with various devices such as a stepper motor, analog to digital converter, 7-segment displays. And apart from this, students are also doing C programming over using PCs. So this is a quite interesting lab. And coming to another lab, this is microwave laboratory, and microwave laboratory consists of various components such as klystron, power supply, klystron mount tube, isolator, variable attenuator, frequency meter, slotted line section, VSWR meter, and CRO. So there's a huge opportunity for the students with respect to microwave laboratory if they are joining and they are being in touch with the faculty members. So this is VLSI lab and Cadence Research Lab. So VLSI lab will assist students and research scholars and faculties to acquire the skills desired by electronic system design and manufacturing and semiconductor industry. So we are, our head of department is also, and our senior professor, Dr. Ramesh Bedi is also associated with this lab. So they are quite experienced and quite expert in this particular area. So if the students are joining, they will get more exposure in this particular lab. So coming to the specializations offered in SRM AP for ECE branch, we are particularly classifying into undergraduate, postgraduate, and PhD. So we have already started undergraduate in signal processing using artificial intelligence. And BTech in advanced communication systems, BTech in VLSI and embedded systems. And recently, last year, we have also started MTech in Internet of Things. And as part of PhD program, we are working on various emerging research areas, including signal processing, communication systems, and networking, VLSI embedded system, RF microwave, biomedical and image processing, and batteries. So these are the specializations offered by SRMAP. And the most importantly, the key feature of the Electronics and Communication Engineering Department SRM University, Andhra Pradesh, is we are having a team of faculties who are having quite efficient and in-depth degrees from abroad universities as well as Indian institutes. For example, Louisiana State University, USA, University of Maryland, USA, North Dakota University, USA, University of Wollongong, Australia, and many IITs like IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, Kharagpur, Kanpur, Patna, Roorkee. So myself, like as have been introduced that I completed my PhD degree from IIT Kanpur. So this is the overall presentation, and thank you very much for attending the session and listening to me. And if you are having any question, you can ask me.
Sir, really very great to hear your SRM University, sir. And also thank you so much for your wonderful session.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Another guest we have, name of speaker, Dr. Satya Pramod Jami. Dr. Satya Pramod Jami holds his bachelor degree in mechanical engineering from JNTU College of Engineering, Anandpur. His master's from IIT Guwahati in fluids and thermal specialization. He holds his PhD in mechanical engineering from the University of Surrey, UK. He is currently working as an associate professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering at SRM University. So welcome, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you.
Please start with your session.
Okay, thank you. So I hope you all can see my screen. Okay, good evening, everyone. So my name is Satyapramod Jami. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering. Today, I'll be talking about what are the various opportunities that one can have as a mechanical engineer. And then I'll touch upon some of the topics or some of the things that we do here at SRM University AP in the Mechanical Engineering Department. Some of the programs or some of the concepts were covered by my colleague, Dr. Omji Pandey. So I'll be just giving a brief introduction to them. So what is mechanical engineering? Okay, so mechanical engineers are the ones who design, create, and maintain the world. So it is very important branch of engineering. It is one of the oldest branches of engineering. And so as a mechanical engineer, we try to understand, okay, how things work, design, building it, and then manufacturing it. So these are all the stages. So first we need to understand how something works. That is based on principles that we learned and we'll be learning. And then design it, make it aesthetically pleasant so that people can actually buy in the market. Like so some cars you can see it and okay, that car looks good. So that comes in the design aspect. And then building is nothing but what are the subcomponents that you can divide this entire big system into smaller one, and then manufacturing them. So this makes the whole idea is to make human life easier. This is one of the major things of mechanical engineering. And it is also the oldest and broadest engineering disciplines. As you will see in the later coming slides, mechanical engineers have a very broad area in which they can work on. And this is also termed as evergreen branch of engineering. So in addition to physics and mathematics, mechanical engineering also encompasses key elements of aerospace, electrical engineering, civil engineering, chemical engineering, and even material science and bioengineering. So which are the recent trends of mechanical engineering. Then mechanical engineering touches every aspect of modern life. So you take in transportation, healthcare, construction, energy, defense, aerospace. No matter you mention a field, there is a need for mechanical engineering. So what is the diversity of mechanical engineering? I said it's the oldest, it's the evergreen branch, and people can do multiple things and so on and so forth. So as a mechanical engineer, you can get into automotive industry, which is nothing but cars, bikes, trucks, whatnot. Then you can get into power and energy industry. This is where you build machines for power generation and things. So steel industry, manufacturing of steel. So I'm going clockwise from the top. So steel industry, cement industry, metallurgical industry. These are all the major manufacturing industries. Then consumer goods industry is a kind of very diverse thing where mechanical engineers can work on from your TVs, refrigerators that you see, especially LG or any other companies, to simple chairs and things like that. And then we have a detailed scope in pharmaceutical industry, textile and clothing. This is where you can build heavy machines or operate them, maintain them. Then in the glass industry, food and beverage industry, chemical industry, we didn't put in everything, but as I said in my previous slide, we also have aerospace industry where mechanical engineers can go. Then, just to give you some examples in the aerodynamics, aerospace, or automotive, mechanical engineers have the ability to work on various aspects of race cars and various aspects of airplanes. I'm just touching upon the bigger things. I'm not going into minute details, just to give you an idea. From aerospace to these are the space vehicles. Space vehicles design, this is aerodynamics, which is also basic of mechanical engineering, fluid mechanics. Then you can work on defense. You can design guns, tanks, rifles, whatnot. And in the construction industry, this you will be seeing everywhere these days with construction going around, all this big heavy lifting equipment. And the bottom one is nothing but agriculture, which is the basic source of Indian market, right? So we can design, or as a mechanical engineer, one can design multiple tools that can work or increase the productivity of agricultural engineering. So this is the broad picture of what is mechanical engineering and where you can work. So you can work from aerospace to construction field in multiple levels, and it has a very broad discipline. And it is kind of the kind of training that you get in a mechanical engineering allows you to get into multiple fields. So which I'll come back in the faculty profiles of our department, where we see even though we are mechanical engineers, we work on various aspects. So what are the basic or the traditional disciplines in mechanical engineering? In mechanical engineering, we have three traditional disciplines that we can say. These are the old disciplines that were running from a very long time. Thermal or thermal sciences, this is where the people in power plant industries or refrigeration and air conditioning, all these places, the thermal sciences comes. And even part of it will come into aerospace as well. Next, we have the design and mechanical design or mechanical design. This is where the actual design of the components or design of a big machine, how does the gears work and things. So the third one is the production or manufacturing engineering, which is nothing but these two thermal or thermal sciences will give you the basic information that you can work on. Then it is designed by the design modeler or mechanical designing. And then at last, it should go into production, that is manufacturing, where you can see the actual product out. So this, even though they are different, everything is kind of linked to one another. That is why these are all broad areas of mechanical engineering. And some of the emerging areas. So these days, every industry or everything is going through a transformation. So the emerging areas are additive manufacturing. This is where it is called 3D printing, and you can print multiple various shapes with extremely extreme accuracy. Next is the robotics, which is kind of involving both these things, electronics and mechanical. Nanotechnology, advanced material space, biomedical applications. These are very important for heart transplantation or stent in a heart. All these things, how does what metal should be used? This all comes under mechanical engineering. And environmental conservation. This is the hybrid electric vehicles, or how can we reduce pollution. So coming to the careers, what mechanical engineers can take, I'm just giving you not an exhaustive list, but a simple list. In the core mechanical engineering, in private, you can go to core mechanical companies like LG, Tata, and many others. ITES companies, automotive companies, design companies, electrical engineering companies, control systems, medical sciences, biomechanics. So biomechanics is one field where you'll actually understand how your body works in some scenarios. This is coming up for sports, MI, robotics, managerial, techno-managerial, and techno-legal. This is the patent analyst and many more jobs. In the government, you can go into PSUs like SAIL, GAIL, IOCL, etc. DRDO, ISRO, oil industry, railways, UPSC jobs, state PSC, government banks, and many more. So as a mechanical engineer, the kind of foundation that you get will allow you to have multiple opportunities. So if you go to defense, you can go into Army, Navy, Air Force, and many more. And always the option of higher studies, MTech, MS, MBA, PhD, etc. So I just put in everything into a single picture. As a mechanical engineer, you can go into all these kind of things. This is just a pictorial representation of this. So petroleum engineer, waste management engineer, automotive engineer, robotics engineer, tribology, so on and so forth. And also, you can go into software jobs. So software jobs are always an option. And here at SRM University AP, we, in the mechanical engineering department as well, we train the students on basic programming skills, because nowadays every field of engineering is generating data, and we need to analyze, you have computers to analyze data. So we train them on the basic programming skills as well. Now, coming to the overview of our department at SRM AP, we have a few faculties here. Most of our faculties are having experience abroad, that is outside India, and all our faculties are PhD holders. So our head of the department is Professor Prakash Yadav. He did his PhD from US, and he's in composite structures. We have Dr. Vinod Kumar, who is who works on innovative metal alloys for multiple things like gold, aerospace, and metal foams and this. So he has his PhD from IIT Kharagpur, and he worked in Germany for 6 years before coming back here. Dr. Sheila Singh, she is also having a PhD from IIT Kharagpur, and she worked in Germany before coming to here. So Dr. Venkat Nuri, he's into combustion and fluid dynamics. He has his undergraduate degree from IIT Madras, and then he did his PhD from Georgia Tech, USA. And then he worked in Honeywell for a few years before entering into the teaching profession. So myself, Dr. Pramod Jami, the speaker, she has introduced me, so I'll skip myself. We have Dr. Sarfraz Halkarni, who is into fluid dynamics and heat transfer. He has a PhD from IIT Bombay. Dr. Sudhir Raj, he is into robotics. He has a PhD from IIT Kharagpur. Dr. Lakshmi Sirisha, she is into electronic cooling. This is another important area that is coming up because of the computers around. She has a PhD from IIT Madras, and she worked in USA before joining here. And we have Dr. Janardhan Vistapalli. He is into design and robotics. He is a PhD from IIT Hyderabad. And Dr. Jashwinder Singh, who has recently joined us in the field of additive manufacturing. He has his PhD from IIT Delhi. As you can see, all our faculty are from IITs or PhDs outside India. And we offer BTech in mechanical engineering, BTech in mechanical engineering with robotic specialization, BTech in mechanical engineering with additive manufacturing specialization, and PhD in mechanical. Apart from this, you can also do the minor program, which is common to the entire SRM AP. And coming to the kind of work or research work that we do here. So currently we are having 4 projects. So we have an MOU with Titan, Dr. Vinod Kumar, who is working on making of gold jewelry or 3D printing of gold jewelry. And Dr. Sheila Singh, she's having a project from DST SERB, which is with a total outlay of 69 lakhs. And Dr. Vinod Kumar has also a SERB project with 66 lakh rupees. And myself, I'm having a core research grant worth 40 lakh rupees. We have roughly 8 to 10 PhD students working on various things. So that is SRM AP department at an all. As a student, if you join SRM AP, what do you get? We have 14 laboratories fully equipped with everything from lathe machines to robotics. And we have 50 PCs with ANSYS, CFD, and SolidWorks. We have the postgraduate labs where if someone is interested can work with the faculty. And we have 2 patents that have been submitted by undergraduate students, and one was approved or awarded for one of the students. And we have a student-led ASME chapter. Most of our workshop is hands-on training. And one of our students got in the prestigious Erasmus Mundus Scholarship for Masters. In this, he goes around a few places in Europe, like 7 countries, to complete his master's program. And 4 students got into QS ranking universities. Okay, this is the face shield. That is one of the patent by our student, Pawan Mohan Aditya. And this was awarded by the Indian government recently. And this is the electric bike where the students have taken a bike and then retrofitted with electric motors to run it. And this goes at 50 to 60. You can Google on YouTube to find out a video about it. So that's it from my side. And I thank you very much for giving me this opportunity and listening. Hope to see some of you in SRM. Thank you very much.
Yes, we have name of speaker, Dr. Somesh Vinayak Tiwari. Dr. Somesh Vinayak Tiwari holds his BTech degree in electronical engineering from the West Bengal University of Technology, Kolkata. MTech degree in power electronics and drives from BIT University, and PhD degree from the Baba Atomic Research Center, Homi Baba National Institute, Mumbai. He is currently working as an assistant professor in the Department of Electronical and Electronics Engineering and SRM University. Sir, hi sir, good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Sir, please continue with your session, sir.
Sure, ma'am. So I'll be just sharing my screen like the other speakers, and I'll be beginning my presentation on a slightly different note to say the word electrical and electronics engineering, the department itself is an evergreen department. If I may say so, and if I may take the liberty to say so, it is 1 degree and 3 specializations. Needless to say, it can be 4. Because you see, with electrical and electronics engineering, and especially the curriculum which is designed here at SRM AP, it takes into account, or it takes into the need of electronics engineering, the computer science and engineering, and to some extent even the mechanical engineering. So we say it as an evergreen department. I take the liberty of taking it as an evergreen department because electrical and electronics engineering, the word itself has electronics into it. So with this graduate degree course, you are able to not only counter on the subjects of electrical engineering, but they are incomplete without electronics engineering, and completed finally by subjects of computer science engineering. So we try to create an engineer who is equally well with electrical systems, along with the electronic component associated with it, controlled through computers and software. So this is the entire brief which I want to begin, and let me go ahead with my presentation, and during my presentation I'll further discuss on the key aspects covering the job opportunities, the facilities available here, and the growth if a student pursues or a candidate pursues with the bachelor's in electrical engineering. So this is the flow which I'll be basically highlighting on. First, I'll be giving a department overview, what programs and specialization are offered, the different faculties available with us in the EEE department covering all aspects of electrical and electronics engineering, the areas of excellence in the department, the undergraduate curriculum, the laboratory facilities, and the job opportunities, which are immense in number once a student pursues electrical engineering. So, as needless to mention, electrical engineering is a continuous evolving branch, also suggested by Dr. Jami for mechanical engineering. You'll have the subjects in electrical engineering also mentioned by me, with interdisciplinary courses in physics and mathematics, computer science, communication, and mechanical engineering. From this, you can understand that with the electrical engineering degree, the wide aspect of knowledge you get in the allied departments, which opens the gateway for a wide number of job opportunities for you. So the Department of Electrical Engineering at SRM Universities is both active in teaching since its inception in 2018. So here in our department, we have faculties who are PhD from IITs, R&D units in India, and with postdoctoral degree from reputed institutes abroad. So the immense opportunities which we have in our department offers students to participate and obtain exposure and global ranking in universities such as US Berkeley, MIT Boston, and University of Wisconsin-Madison, etc. to name a few. Moving on, I'll just be highlighting what are the courses and the specialization in branches offered currently in electrical and electronics engineering. So we have the BTech program in electrical and electronics engineering with a specialization in smart grid, e-mobility, and energy efficient system. So you see, these are the branches and these are the specializations, rather I may say, which is the need of the hour in the present Indian scenario. So in keeping with the mind, with the current trending scenarios and in keeping with the growing job opportunities in this area, the curriculum has been designed such as to focus on different aspects in the higher semesters, which the student takes in with a BTech degree in electrical and electronics engineering. Then we have the PhD in core electrical engineering specializations, which will be focused on with the different faculty profiles. So here we have the department faculties. To begin with, we have Professor Shastri. He is a visiting faculty here. He is a PhD from IIT Kharagpur, had been a faculty at IIT Madras and is a visiting faculty with us. An immense experience with him, ranging nearly 4 decades. And he has also a chair in his name at IIT Madras. Professor Koshi George is a faculty in the area of control systems, adaptive control systems. He's a PhD from IISc Bangalore with a postdoc from UK. Then we have Dr. Tausif Khan, who is our head of the department. He's having a PhD from IIT Guwahati with a specialization in control systems. Myself, Dr. Somesh. I am a Department of Atomic Energy Graduate Fellow from Bhabha Atomic Research Center, India's premier R&D unit, and a postdoctoral fellow from Technion Israel Institute of Technology. I specialize in the area of high voltage engineering. Dr. Sublakshmi is a faculty in the area of power systems, a PhD from IIT Guwahati. We have Dr. Lokesh, another faculty in the area of power systems with a PhD from IIT Patna. Then we have Dr. Tarakeshwar, a faculty in the area of power systems, renewable energy, with a PhD from IIT Dhanbad, and Dr. Ramanjaniya Reddy, PhD from NIT Warangal and a postdoc from Greece with a specialization in power electronics. So needless to mention, with this faculties around in our department, we holistically cover almost all disciplines, all sub areas in electrical engineering, and not leaving even a single bit for the students. So we cater into the holistic or the complete growth, all-round growth of the student in all aspects, if I may say, of electrical engineering. Coming to this point, we have basically the recent achievements of our faculties, which I may conclude. Our head of the department, Dr. Tausif, has recently received a Department of Science and Technology sub-tier grant for his project titled Intelligent Disturbance Observer Based Adaptive Control of DC to DC Power Converter for Nonlinear Loads. So this is a few of the publication profiles of our faculty members. Myself, I was awarded with an outstanding doctor student award from Homi Bhabha National Institute, Bhabha Atomic Research Center, Mumbai, for my PhD thesis. So we have faculties who usually target in research, in quality research, and in case of quality publications along with students, so that to cater into not only on the teaching or the understanding aspect of any part of the subject material, but also on its implementation. The research in itself in the BTech students is made to grow from the very nascent part. And we have the UROP, the Undergraduate Research Opportunity Program, and the Multidisciplinary Research Opportunity Program, which at the very nascent stage in the BTech student, once he's just completed 2 years of his BTech degree, instills or infuses in his mind the idea of research, catering to the projects and ultimately leading to publications into journals and conferences out of that. So this also creates a mindset or a bent of mind towards research in the students. Then moving on, the different areas of excellence, as I said, keeping into mind the faculties which were just discussed, we have the different areas which completely covers electrical engineering, or for the students joining us in electrical engineering, this is the major aspect which he or she needs to look into to get become a complete engineer, electrical engineer, which is control systems, the electric machine drives, the high voltage engineering, power electronics, power systems, and smart grid technologies. Then the curriculum, as I mentioned here, is basically based on an interaction with the faculties around, academicians around India, around the globe, and the industrialists. We have frequent interactions of the students with the academicians around. We have the distinguished lectures which helps the students to have an understanding of the different research work, the different areas of research being carried around in India and around the globe. So most of the courses available in the department are basically followed by a laboratory, which will be basically highlighted in the upcoming slides as mentioned. So nearly almost all subjects will be having a laboratory component, so that the student not only acquires the theoretical knowledge, but he, after the completion of the course, has the ability to implement the knowledge acquired. So we are basically keeping into mind what are the present industry needs as well in designing of the experiments and in basically the laboratory toolkits and the equipments. This slide basically gives you a feel once you enter into the arena of electrical engineering, what sort of courses, what sort of material you use to refer. These are some standard books which has been evergreen and cater to the needs of all aspects of electrical engineering. Moving on to our laboratory growth, we have the core electrical laboratories here in our department in the fundamentals of electrical engineering, control systems, advanced control systems, power electronics, power systems, and power systems computational laboratory for students to carry out his or her computational work, which is very much in aspect before a practical implementation of the system is being made. Then we also, since as I mentioned in my very previous slide, as it's electrical and electronics engineering, so we have basic electronics lab, digital electronics, analog electronics, signal and systems, and microprocessor and microcontroller laboratory, which we share with the electrical and electronics and communication engineering department. Then the third pillar, which is computer science, needless to mention, we have computer language Python, C, C++ laboratories, data structure laboratories, and the engineering physics, solid state physics, and the engineering graphics laboratory. So you can very well understand in the entire curriculum, as I mentioned, and now I'm making that idea very clear, how electrical, electronics, and even computer science plays a role, the subject along with its laboratory. These are the upcoming laboratories which are in progress and will be very soon available once you wish to join our campus, which is the electrical machines and drive system laboratories, the measurement laboratory, the switchgear and protection laboratories, and the high voltage engineering laboratory. So to mention on the few key research area research laboratories, we have the control system laboratories, which is being developed or is already developed, if I may say, from National Instruments US, world leaders in the area of data acquisition control systems, advanced control systems lab. Then the e-mobility lab, electrical mobility based integrated electrical machines and drive system laboratories, which is basically by Rockwell Automation. So the idea is in mind to have an industry ready lab and advanced computational research laboratory. Now, the very important aspect which everyone has discussed in the beginning, and I'm trying to discuss at the very end. What after electrical engineering? The opportunity is immense. If you may look on the slides here or on the material here, you will look at the core jobs, nearly 99%, if I may take the liberty, of the companies, core sector companies, have electrical engineering as a must when it comes to hiring. This is one of the most important sought out branch when you look at BHEL, Power Grid, solely electrical, IOCL, Gas Authority of India Limited, SAIL, Hindustan Aeronautical Limited, ONGC, and others to name a few. Now, you have the R&D laboratories, the Department of Space, the Department of Atomic Energy. I have myself been as an electrical engineer in Department of Atomic Energy pursuing my PhD, mentioned earlier. Railways, Union Public Service Commission, Short Service Commission, Armed Forces. These form nearly a bulk of jobs for the electrical engineers. And with quite of them only being eligible for electrical engineering. Then private sector jobs, again in the core sector, you have the Reliance Power, the L&T, the Crompton and Reeves, Siemens, General Electric, ABB, Schneider, and this is just the beginning, if I may say. If I go on having on the list can be nearly endless and may take another amount of time. So you see the immense opportunities which a student has once he or she joins electrical engineering here on the amount of jobs or on rather I can say the number of job opportunities which is very much necessary in present growing scenarios. Again, as I said, since we have the computer and the IT components in the syllabus of electrical engineering as well, the myth can be easily removed, as mentioned by other speakers as well, that the students pursuing electrical engineering are always sought out and welcome in organizations like Microsoft, Google, Amazon, TCS, Infosys. And again, I may say the list is endless. So these are the few companies, I may say just a few. The list is endless, wherein the students join and can, after graduating, can appear, get selected, join, and this enriches his or her career and for the further growth. Again, if I may say, the opportunities are immense in case of research like other departments. The advantages with electrical engineering is you can pursue a master's in the area of electronics and communication engineering, computer science and engineering, instrumentation. So the list is endless. And even PhD in related areas from institutes in India and abroad. You have another field, management, which is open up to sharpen or to sharpen your skills also and to sharpen your managerial skills with MBA, PGDM through CAT and GMAT. And as I said, to get into reputed management institutes and the civils. So with this, I conclude and I welcome any questions in regard to the department as a whole and detail. Yeah, thank you, madam. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Somesh Vinayak Tiwari. Have one question. What is the difference between EEE and ECE?
If, as I have a speaker with me, Dr. Omji, he may beg to differ, but I may take the liberty to say that I do not find much of a difference in electrical engineering. If one pursues an electrical and electronics engineering degree here at SRM AP, he has, the curriculum is so that he has his scope or his areas towards electronics engineering along with electrical engineering, because course is designed in that manner. If someone may recall on these slides earlier, we have the core electrical engineering, which we usually speak of power systems, control systems, power electronics. But I may take the liberty that this is incomplete without electronic control, the human control, right? The human interface. So electronics engineering in this aspect is quite similar. If someone wants to pursue total electronics engineering, then his courses are basically that Dr. Omji will highlight. But with EEE, he has an aspect of both electronics as well as electrical. So for me, it's no difference.
Sir, there will be question and answer in the end of session, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, sir. And have another guest, name of speaker, Dr. Uma Maheshwar Arepalli. Dr. Uma Arepalli is currently an assistant professor in the Civil Engineering Department, SRM AP, and he holds a bachelor degree in Civil Engineering from Andhra University, a master's degree from IIT Bhu, Varanasi, India, and a doctoral degree from Worcester Polytechnic Institute, WPI, USA. He is currently a registered professional civil engineer in the state of Maine, USA, and an affiliated member at the University of Maine, USA. Sir, please welcome, sir. Sir, please start with your session, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much for the nice introduction. Let me jump onto my slide. Yeah, I'm going to talk about career prospects in civil engineering here. So the contents I'm going through here is what is civil engineering and career opportunities with civil engineering and facilities at SRMAP and the specializations offered in civil engineering at SRMAP. So I hope I just kept this slide, what is civil engineering here, but I think all of you might know what is civil engineering in general, I guess. So as you rightly see there, we said whatever you see in day-to-day life, that's what the civil engineering is, as the name indicates there. So we all travel on roads, right? We all see the roads and things like that, and the traffic and things like that. And we all live in buildings, apartments, and flats, whatever, right? That deals with the structures and drinking water plants where there are certain drinking standards. That's what we engineer there, and dams and also barrages and geotechnical and soil aspects. And this is what it's a display of various branches in civil engineering, but it's quite visual. The uniqueness of this branch is you can visually see things, whatever you learn in the university, and also once you become a civil engineer, whatever you design, you can directly see how it is really doing outside. So that is the beauty of civil engineering. At the end of your graduation or towards the career, you will have a great satisfaction in this particular stream of engineering. And also, if you ask me a few things about these branches, what you learn in these courses, suppose if I take transportation engineering, if I say pavement design, right? So as a student, you will learn what kind of material you use in this pavement and what is the thickness of various layers and things like that. And we all stop at traffic signals, right? That is where, as a civil engineer, you design the timings, the traffic signal timings based on the traffic and things like that. This is kind of some feel about civil engineering. And as I said already, coming to the structures, as a civil engineer, you will understand various properties of the concrete, which you all know, right? And also you understand how the loads coming on the structure, and you design the beams and columns, which you generally see wherever there is construction. You generally see the columns, beams, and things like that, right? So you will get to know how you really design these beams and columns. And also, if you design something like that, you can really go to the site and see how it is doing, right? Which is a great thing, which is a visual thing. And coming to environmental, so we all have the drinking water, right? So there are certain standards. We cannot drink, every water until unless it has certain standards to drink on health concerns, right? So we engineer all these aspects. So that's what part of the environmental, and there are sewage treatment plants and things like that. And as you know, the water resources, that's a very popular part of civil engineering, right? Without really storing the water, you cannot really have the resources for different seasons, especially in the summer time, right? And also a lot of disputes because of this water, right? So apart from that, so we deal with a lot of design aspects, design of these dams and things, and also especially you might heard from newspapers the height of the dam and things like that, right? So that is where we come to know what is the demand required at particular place and things like that. So that is a decision by the civil engineers. And geotechnical engineering is another, whatever we talk about here, all these infrastructure built on the soil, right? If the soil is weak, nothing long lasts. So you need to understand how the soil, what is the soil capacity. We have different tests in civil engineering to understand the properties of soils. So we also have techniques to improve the soil. Suppose if it is a weak soil, We have stabilization techniques where we improve the soil and then we build the structures upon it. So very, very core of the civil engineering branch. And geology, if you see any tunnels in the railways and things like that, so when you make the construction, you need to understand the properties of these rocks, where you need to, you will study various aspects of geological aspects of this rock engineering. And the last picture, I think all of you might have seen on roadsides, right? So there are a lot of people doing this surveying, standing on the roadside and taking these levels with this particular equipment, right? So that's a very first thing that we do whenever we construct these things. So we first study the existing levels of ground, and then we will move forward to the further designs. So anyway, I just said it's a very visual engineering, and if you really, I mean, when I was explaining these things, if you need to see, I mean, you can check whether something is compelling you to really pursue a career in civil engineering. And I would like to end this slide with a small quotation from a famous scientist, Albert Einstein. So he says, like, I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious. So what I mean is, so while you are browsing all these engineering branches, so see where your interest lies. I know it's a little challenging now because you don't have much exposure into these streams, but whatever you have right now, see where your interest lies, which branch compels you. So if you have a passion, making money it doesn't matter. And the other secondary part is, so money is one aspect. The second aspect is your work-life balance, quality of life, satisfaction at the end of the work, right? So engineering, choosing the branch of engineering is like marrying you for the lifetime, right? Once you are into certain stream, you will be called as a civil engineer or electrical engineer or mechanical engineer, whatever. So it's a very important step for you. So don't see just the initial packages or things like that. Also see whether it is something that compels you, whether you are passionate towards that. That is something that you do really, that gives you satisfaction at the end of the job. So with that, I will just jump on to career opportunities. Obviously, there is no limitation for career opportunities in civil engineering. So one of the unique opportunities in civil engineering, I can say, is you will have a lot of government jobs, especially if you want to go for IES or state government jobs, assistant engineer jobs, or public sector units. There are plenty of opportunities in engineering services. And another unique opportunity with civil engineering is you can gain some experience in private companies and you can become an entrepreneur by yourself. You can become a contractor or a consultant, which is it's not just something to show on the slide. So I completed my bachelor's way back in 2007. So many of my friends are into all these areas. So some of them are right now are contractors, some of them are consultants, some of them are working in engineering services, state boards, or whatnot. Whatever I show you, I have contacts in every sector out there. And apart from that, as you know, every student is different. Some are comfortable with decent jobs with government. Some want to work with private and wants to like climb the ladder very quick. Some may want to go with some entrepreneurship, right? They want to start their own company. They don't want to work under something, and depends on every student. And some wants to go for higher studies, right? There is a plenty of opportunities. Even in my previous organizations where I work, a lot of my previous students have done their masters in USA, Australia, New Zealand, and even MBA. A lot of people go for MBA after civil and also go for PhDs. So not only the civil engineering, you can also appear for software jobs. If you decided to, at the end of towards the graduation, if you want to move there, you have a chance there. And also there are a lot of support needed for infrastructure companies where they need some software support. So there is also another avenue for you to work on the developing various civil engineering modules from IT end for the civil engineering industry. All right. So these are the various opportunities. Again, as I said, nothing stops you if you have a passion towards whatever you're studying. So you can make a huge money out of there. And few popular companies, I already mentioned IES, state boards, and as the other speakers already mentioned, public sector units. There is all a requirement for civil engineers. And there are a lot of private companies which are consulting companies, contractors, and many startups these days. I mean, just like I just said, there are entrepreneurship, people are really floating their own companies. All right, there is plenty of, it's just a simple list. There's a big list there if you really want to explore. So coming to the facilities at SRM AP, I will be quick on this. So the first thing you will want to see there is faculty at the university, right? I would like to let you know, I mean, feel free to explore the website that we have a lot of information about our faculty. All of us have PhDs from IITs and having international exposure. As earlier mentioned, I have my PhD from US and also have my postdoc in United States. I'm still associated with some of the universities in US and also working for main Department of Transportation in USA. And then coming to the state-of-the-art laboratories, we have all these variety of laboratories at our campus with very classical equipment to the advanced equipment. So if you see, I mean, it's a very, we have equipment which are very advanced, not just a basic kind, which you can see here, some of the pictures. So usually you tend to see some manual compaction things, but having an automatic compaction, it's not usual, which we have at our campus. So we are glad to have such facilities. We have all brand new equipments here, and we are going to explore further to expand our laboratories, not only for teaching, but also the research. So on the other facilities, as I said, our teaching pedagogy is student-centric. When we teach a particular subject, we keep the students' perspective in mind. We emphasize if there is something that important for IES exams. We cover the syllabus also within the curriculum for the IES exam or GATE exams or public sector units. Not only that, we also give them some research perspectives on how the science is built and what's the current practice and things like that, which helps them to go for higher studies who are interested in that. Many of our students, some of them are interested for private jobs, some of them are interested for governments, some of them wants to go for higher education, some of them wants to start their own companies. So we under entrepreneurship, we also have various management courses floating around. We encourage students to take those courses to nurture their skills in management, so that once they become entrepreneur, they can have very smooth transition there. And coming to project works, we have very innovative project works and industry internships. We have a Europe program, undergraduate research opportunities program, where the students will be involved, work closely with all of our faculty members into their solving the research, real world problems. So they will get exposure working with faculty at a very early stage in third year before they go for capstone project in the final year. And also capstone projects, they really solve the real world problem. It's not something they do in the laboratory or create something. They will be given a real world problem and ask them to come out with a solution based on their own skills. It's like a freedom for the students to come out with some innovative solution. And internships, as other speakers said, so our students do a lot of internships during second year summer with the companies to get the industry exposure out there. And we have vibrant research community with all the research faculty here. And we also have PhD students, and also we are expanding our MTech program. So students get opportunity to see all these PhD works, which are beyond the bachelor's level, and also have some hands-on experience with the research part of this. And also we have semester abroad programs, and also we have exclusive placements training. So I want to give you a special note here. Based on my experience, whatever you study at university is one stage, but preparing for jobs is completely different. So if you just go with what you study from university, you may not excel in the interviews, right? So that is placement training, very, very important. At SRM, you have exclusive placement training just to prepare you for the interviews, like consolidate all your knowledge to excel the interviews, all right? And on the last slide, the specializations offered at SRM AP in civil engineering, we have a structural engineering specialization, geotechnical, transportation, water resources, and environmental engineering. We also have we're exploring MTech programs, and we have PhD people around 5 right now. And as I said, our students are free to take any minors across the university, whether it is chemistry or management or any other stream that they like. So with that, I thank you for the opportunity. I will be happy to answer any questions at the end.
Thank you so much, sir, about SRM University. Thank you so much. And participants, one small announcement. There will be a question and answer session now. Please raise your hand. And మీకు ఫ్యూచర్ కి సంబంధించి ఎడ్యుకేషన్ పరంగా ఏదైనా డౌట్ ఉంటే హ్యాండ్ రేస్ చేయండి, మీ డౌట్ అడగండి, ఎక్స్పర్ట్స్ ఉన్నారు. సో వన్ పార్టిసిపేట్స్ ఉన్నారు. వన్ పార్టిసిపేట్ జగన్మోహన్ అడగండి మీ డౌట్. అన్మ్యూట్ చేసుకొని మీ డౌట్ అడగండి జగన్మోహన్ గారు. సో జగన్మోహన్ మీ డౌట్ అడగండి, అన్మ్యూట్ చేసి, ఎక్స్పర్ట్స్ ఉన్నారు. సో నెక్స్ట్ పార్టిసిపేట్ ఉదయ్, మిస్టర్ ఉదయ్ మీ డౌట్ అడగండి.
మేడం కొంచెం సిఎస్సి గురించి కూడా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేయండి.
సిఎస్సి
ఎస్ మ్యామ్.
సో అడగండి, ఎక్స్పర్ట్స్ ఉన్నారు, మీరు అడగండి డౌట్ ని. మీకు ఆల్రెడీ స్క్రీన్ మీద కనిపిస్తున్నారు కదా,
ఎస్ మ్యామ్.
మీ డౌట్ అడగండి.
సార్ గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ సార్.
Yeah, I think Uday, this is for non-IT courses. Maybe there will be another webinar that can explain you about computer science, I guess, if I am correct.
Okay, sir.
ఓకే ఉదయ్, నెక్స్ట్ సెషన్ లో చెప్తారట. సో అనదర్ పార్టిసిపెంట్, సో వెంకట్ సాయి అన్మ్యూట్ చేసుకొని మీ డౌట్ అడగండి.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Can I know about architecture course? How about future?
Yeah, I think maybe I will respond. So we don't have a architecture course right now, but there is a huge scope that after you graduate from civil engineering, you will have the option to nurture for architecture in the master's program. Right now, we don't have a bachelor's program in architecture.
Can I know about its future?
Yeah, architecture is something like a skill based, right? So if you're really interested, and it's like art. So you need to have that like interest or convince your customers with all your designs and things like that. So definitely it has future, but see whether it's not like an engineering course. It's more of a arts kind of a course. It has a future, but we have limited details about that as we are not from that background.
Thank you, sir.
పార్టిసిపెంట్. సో స్టూడెంట్స్ మీకు సంబంధించి ఏవైతే డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయో ఆ డౌట్స్ మీరు అడగొచ్చు. ఇక్కడ ఎక్స్పర్ట్స్ ఉన్నారు, మీకు ఆల్రెడీ స్క్రీన్ మీద కూడా కనిపిస్తున్నారు. సో మీకు డౌట్ ఉంటే మీ హ్యాండ్ ని రేస్ చేయండి. సో అన్మ్యూట్ చేసుకొని మాట్లాడండి. సో పార్టిసిపేట్ ఉన్నారు రాఘవేంద్ర అన్మ్యూట్ చేసి మాట్లాడండి, మీ డౌట్ అడగండి. రాఘవేంద్ర అన్మ్యూట్ చేసి మాట్లాడండి.
Which branch is good, madam?
సర్స్ ఉన్నారు, సర్స్ ని అడగండి.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, which branch is good, sir? No.
Yeah, maybe I think I covered in my slides a little bit. Maybe I will just briefly respond. Yeah, every branch is good, Raghavendra. Every branch has unique opportunities. But as I said, right, find your passion. as you are listening to all of our speakers, see which compiles you, which you really interested in, then you can really make a good career out of it. That's what my take, or maybe other speakers can join.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So another
Okay.
participant. Thank you, Raghavendra. Shravan, Mr. Shravan, మీ డౌట్ అడగండి అన్మ్యూట్ చేసి. Shravan? So another participant, Satvik. Satvik, మీ డౌట్ అడగండి. సాత్విక్ అన్మ్యూట్ చేసి మీ డౌట్ అడగండి. ఎక్స్పర్ట్స్ ఉన్నారు, ఆల్రెడీ మీకు స్క్రీన్ మీద కనిపిస్తున్నారు కదా. హలో, సో రాహుల్ అన్మ్యూట్ చేసి మీ డౌట్ అడగండి.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Sir, I don't know if it's right to ask. So I would just like to know the difference. That means, everyone in the nowadays are attracted to the premier institutions, that are IITs, their BTech, for the career options further. So can I know the difference between those premier colleges and our SRM AP for engineering, especially for CSE?
మీ వాయిస్ క్లియర్ లేదు, కొంచెం గట్టిగా మాట్లాడండి.
Yeah, that's it, sir.
Yeah, now it is audible.
Sir?
రాహుల్ మీ క్వశ్చన్ మళ్ళీ అడగండి.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. Sir, I don't know that it is correct to ask or not, but nowadays everyone get attracted to the premier colleges in our premier that are IITs for their BTech completion for further studies. Then can I know the difference between those premier colleges and our SRM AP for this particular engineering courses? Especially we can go further into the CSE, computer science engineering. That's it, sir.
Sir?
Dr. Pramod, would you like to answer?
Yeah, fine. See, you are comparing IITs, or you want us to compare with IITs, but it's not a fair thing to do. What we feel, Rahul, is here at SRM University AP, our faculty are very well qualified. As you have seen from various presentations, our faculty are very well qualified in their having exposure from IITs and outside India as well. And coming to the curriculums that we offer a very encouraging curriculum that is diverse, and we want the students who are joining SRM AP to actually flower in their areas of interest. So you have taken, for example, let's say civil engineering, and you are also interested in a bit of management or BBA or MBA. So you can actually take those minor courses, which SRM University is offering the flexibility. So any other speaker want to add something? I'm more than
Yeah. So Rahul, actually, I just want to add one point. Like, see, you are focused on IITs and IISc, right? I think your premier institutions means you are targeting that. So I just want to tell that if you are writing IIT JEE and somehow you missed the good ranks in getting IITs, then there is no point in feeling any kind of disappointment. We are here at SRM University AP, we are having the faculty profiles, even I would like to say they are beyond IITs. Okay, so you should not feel sad that if somehow you missed in getting IIT. You will get the same kind of education, and even I will say that you will get more opportunities if you are joining at SRM University Andhra Pradesh, and you should feel fortunate enough that this university is established in your state and you are getting closer to it.
సో స్టూడెంట్స్ పార్టిసిపెంట్స్ మీకు ఏవైతే డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయో మీ డౌట్స్ ని మీరు అడగొచ్చు. ఇక్కడ ఎక్స్పర్ట్స్ ఉన్నారో ఆల్రెడీ మీకు స్క్రీన్ మీద కనిపిస్తున్నారు. మీకు ఏదైతే డౌట్ ఉందో ఆ డౌట్ మీరు స్క్రీన్ మీద ఆల్రెడీ కనిపిస్తుంది కదా.
So one more thing I would like to ask. Can I, sir? Yeah. Sir, that is it compulsory? Is it compulsory to go for the further studies in like for the MTech or whatever, moving on next, or is it enough for the BTech to pursue to get it settled for the career? Just I would.
Okay, so I just want to answer this question. Actually, Rahul, everything depends on you. It is not a question that you want to go for higher studies for the sake of something else. So, like even you can see we are having 100% placement. So if your soul, your heart is not telling that you should go for higher studies, you can continue with your career in the industries and other places. But if your heart is showing that you should go for higher studies, we are also flexible and we are providing a lot of help to students to get an opportunity to study in abroad. And even during our slides also, presentations also, we have highlighted that we are having semester abroad program. We are having some collaborations with multiple top QS ranking universities, where from the BTech itself, you will start your journey to taking a flavor of top QS universities.
Right. Another participant. So here, Mariam Martin.
Yes, sir. Hello, ma'am.
Ask your question.
Yes, sir. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I know about deep in detail about CSC course? Because
your voice is not clear.
Can I get to know detail about the CSC course, because I'm not able to clarify the difference between this BTech course, that I should only take CSC course, or I need to go to engineering course, or I need to go for aviation. Like aviation is also wonderful experience, I think, to pursue a career in it. And even I got the rank in aviation, but I don't know, I'm confused. Can I get through it? Can I understand it, how it is, and how is the engineering field? Okay, yeah, my question is over.
So, sir, can you answer that question, sir?
That's a broad-based question. One thing that we always advise students at your age is to take something that which you are interested in. It might be good. You might think how the future is. As you have seen, the future for almost all the courses are big. You can't compare CSC with aviation or CSC with mechanical or mechanical with aviation. The way you can look at it is, yeah, I like aviation. If I got a rank in aviation, is it what university, what college, or what place you're getting into? And aviation, what is your idea of aviation? That you should be very clear. You might be thinking you might be flying airplanes or something else, but what is the aviation that might be taught? The other way to look at it is, as many of my colleagues have said, electrical engineering, electronic engineering, mechanical, civil, all these courses, you have an opportunity to get into not aviation but aerospace field, because electronics are used in aerospace. Civil, it is the aerospace structures, and mechanical, this is aerospace design, and electrical and electronics, it's all everywhere in an aeroplane. It all depends on your interest. For example, some of our faculty, including me, even though we are from mechanical engineering background, we work on aerospace vehicles and re-entry vehicles. There are multiple opportunities. Any other one? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir, okay, fine, I understand this. So, but sir, in CSC also there are different fields. Like I think cybersecurity is there, and I don't know, there's many fields in it. According to it, I think data analysis is there. So what are these including in CSC background? Like what are it is particularly from CSE or from other fields? How is it?
Okay, so to be exact, I do. I mean, I personally do more computing. Okay, so computer programming, and so I use GPUs that you use for gaming, that we use for numerical simulations. So computer science, there are other aspects to it that computer science does. AI, ML, if you say artificial intelligence and machine learning, for example, then it is everywhere. You come to mechanical engineering, robotics, it is AI, ML. If you go to electrical engineering, you have AI, ML. Electronics, you have. If you come to data science is a very big field. Now, data science is being applied to law. Okay.
Like this type of law?
Yeah, it's a lawyer profession. Okay, so if you have something of a court case that you are pertinent on, can you deduce what are all the cases, or how your argument should be structured in such a fashion that you actually can get your case through? And it is used in music, it is used in psychology. Data science is a very big field, and it is all mathematical statistical analysis.
Thank you so much.
రాహుల్ మీ డౌట్ అడగండి. ఎక్స్పర్ట్స్ ఉన్నారు, క్లారిఫై చేస్తారు మీ డౌట్ ఏదైతే ఉందో. అన్మ్యూట్ చేసుకొని మాట్లాడండి. రాహుల్. ఓకే, అనదర్ పార్టిసిపెంట్ శ్రవణ్. శ్రవణ్ మీ డౌట్ అడగండి.
Yes, ma'am.
అన్మ్యూట్ చేసుకోండి.
Sir, did EEE course explanation go on?
Yes, Shravan. This is yeah. Can you repeat your question?
Sir, did EEE course explanation go on?
EEE course?
Yeah, it's completed. Yeah, it's completed. He has explained.
Yeah. I have explained. Any doubts, Shravan? I'll get.
Sir, I have missed it. Can you show me the slides once again?
If you have any specific questions, Shravan, I'm very happy to answer that.
Dr. Somesh, maybe he can look at the YouTube link.
Yeah, you can have a look at the YouTube link, Shravan, which will always be there. The URL will be shared with you, so that you can have a look at the link on that. And if any specific question pertinent to EEE is there, I'm more than happy to help you.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, Shravan. Yeah, Shravan. Any questions at your end regarding EEE?
No, sir. I just have missed that explanation, so I want to clarify.
Fine, Shravan. Another participant, Venkat Sai. Unmute చేసుకొని మీ డౌట్ అడగండి. Ask your question.
Sir, architecture or civil engineering, which one is better, sir?
Yeah, Venkat Sai, I think I explained a little bit earlier. Yes. It's again depends. Like some people are from very beginning, they are keen to do some architecture kind of designs, and it's a very artistic kind of a skill. I have a friend who works now in Dubai. He's an architect. So I can't really do his job. So that's his passion. So, right? So as a civil engineer, you will do the engineering aspects here. So both are good. They both have different career opportunities and different.
What's the difference between them?
Job roles. If you ask me the difference, civil engineering, you design the buildings. Suppose if you take a building, but architecture, you like a tech, kind of aesthetic part of it. As you see in our background, see our SRM building. So we design the building, but the architect give some more aesthetic view or a better look, right? So that's a clear difference between architectural work and the civil engineering work. Hope that helps.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right, thank you, sir. And another participant. So students, మీకు ఏదైతే డౌట్ ఉందో కెరీర్ గైడెన్స్ కి సంబంధించి ఆ క్వశ్చన్స్ ని మీరు ఇక్కడ అడగొచ్చు, ఎక్స్పర్ట్స్ ఉన్నారు, మీ డౌట్ ని క్లారిఫై చేస్తారు. సో మీకు డౌట్ ఉంటే ఆల్రెడీ స్క్రీన్ మీద హ్యాండ్ రేజ్ చేయండి, రేజ్ చేసి అన్మ్యూట్ చేసుకొని మీ డౌట్ అడగండి. ఫైన్. సో పార్టిసిపేట్ ఉన్నారు ఉదయ్. ఉదయ్, మీకు డౌట్ ఉంటే అడగండి. ఫైన్. సో యాక్చువల్లీ కెరియర్ గైడెన్స్ కి సంబంధించి ఇంకా స్టూడెంట్స్ కి మీరు ఏమని చెప్పాలనుకుంటున్నారా? యువర్ సజెషన్స్.
Dr. Pramod, you want to take on?
Okay. Now, what we suggest would be follow what your passion is. So you might be interested in something. No matter whether you get into the branch of engineering that you like or you don't like. So many a times, some of you might be interested in computer science engineering, and you might not have gotten a seat, just for example. Then it's not the end of the world, that's first thing. And nowadays, most engineering or arts or sciences, most places, computers and basics of computer science. Like someone was asking, Maria Martin, I think, she was asking about what is this data science? What is artificial intelligence, machine learning? If you ask any one of us here, every branch of engineering is being inculcated with this AI ML. We know we have one faculty from civil engineering who actually uses AI ML predictions for roads. So when if the roads are going to break, and in electronics and communications engineering, there are many faculty who work on AI ML, because AI ML is a concept. It's not computer science specific, and it is basically mathematic oriented. And Dr. Somesh and me, we are a few faculties in mechanical and electrical engineering who work on computers and computer programming. So whenever you're deciding, you decide what your basic interest is, and to understand other things, you always have an opportunity. And it's not the end of the world. The first thing is, the other thing would be just to make sure that if you are having passion, you can actually do it after your undergraduate in multiple ways. So in ways that you can imagine and you cannot imagine now. The reason being is the world is changing so fast, and the world is so dynamic that interdisciplinary approach is getting up. That is one of the things of our university too. Most of our faculty are interdisciplinary in nature. Any other wants to add, Sam?
Yes, Dr. Pramod, I'd like to add a little. I myself am an electrical engineer. I did my bachelor's in electrical engineering, went on to pursue a master's in power electronics, did my PhD in pulse power engineering, a super specialization of high voltage engineering, which is a mix of electrical engineering, electronic engineering, physics, and to some extent minor fabrications, mechanical. So at the end of the day, once you're out into industry, or even if you're out into academics, you have to treat a student in academics holistically, knowing all aspects. And similarly, in industry, as a beginner and later on as a team leader and to grow on, you have to have all knowledge aspects. So if you feel, okay, computer science, computer should be my core, okay, that is an interest part. But any engineering, the aspect or the angle of computer in today's modern era is compulsory. And what we are talking in today's era, presently in this the topic is all about the evergreen branches from which has computer in its each and every aspect. So that is what I want to highlight on. Fine.
Yeah,
I hope Yeah. Dr. Uma
Go ahead,
will,
Dr. Mike.
yeah. Dr. Uma will continue further.
Yeah, I do agree with both Dr. Pramod and Dr. Somesh. And I just want to bring up one point here. Even so, at certain part of the world, people choose a specialization based on their interest. But in India, we still have that insecurity. Even when I was taking my specialization, there is not enough guidance there. We always feel insecure to take what we like. It's still there in the society. It's kind of a social, I would say it's a social syndrome that we see the other people, what they are taking. We also want to take that because the outside situations are better there and things like that. But what we are missing there by doing that, you may or may not get the complete satisfaction out of your jobs. So it's a very practical thing. I have a lot of friends in whatever the stream that you are looking for right now, and they are not completely happy, some of them, because it's completely a mechanical life from their own words, right? So I'm not commenting on any branch, but my suggestion is, in India, we should change that thought process. Just like it's not like we need to implement the Western culture, but it's a very good culture to choose what you like rather than what is good for career and what is good, what is giving initial returns, right? It's not like that. So we do a lot of life cycle cost analysis in civil engineering. That's where we also consider other aspects like the indirect benefits. Right? So that's my suggestion. Please take it serious. I hope in India also we see some people, some interested people do some interested things other areas as well. There is a huge scope. We have our specifications, our guidelines are very old. Like you, the bright engineers needs to come up and do a lot of good work in engineering, right? Yeah. With that, I would like to end my suggestion. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So, Dr. Om G. Pandey, sir, any suggestion for students, sir?
Well, actually, this Dr. Uma, what he added, that is very important. And our two speakers, Dr. Somesh and Dr. Pramod, they also given a quite good insights that it is not like there is a myth among the student community. They are always focused that we have to go for computer science. Why computer science? There is too much job opportunities and all. So it is not like that, like artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, even myself working on reinforcement learning, Q learning, and in order to address the challenges of Internet of Things, and that is developed based on low power wide area network. So even if you will come and join me, you will get. I'm not saying that I am going to provide you very good in-depth knowledge, but yes, like that, those things are applications, and you will enjoy those journeys. So don't like think that my neighbor is taking computer science, I should also go for computer science. So you should focus and you should listen your heart that ultimately what you want to do in life. It might be that you will be good in mechanical engineering, but your neighbor is going to join computer science, you will also go behind him. So it should not be like that. And in each and every field, you will not believe there is plenty of opportunities. You have to just do good what you are taking. So this is my suggestion. That's it.
I want to add just one thing. Maybe that's a question there. How do I know what each engineering does, right? So we do a lot of YouTube surfing, right? So nowadays, the digital world, there is a lot of information out there. Maybe we can utilize the digital platform for right things at the right point. So try to explore the digital media. So a lot of information is out there. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And Mariam Martin, participant. Ask your question. Unmute yourself.
Yeah. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm very happy that Dr. Uma Maheshwar said about this, the the students myth that we are having a net that if my friend takes CSE, then I should also take CSE, or if someone is saying me to take that course that is very nice, or it is having so many opportunities that I need to go in, that I really appreciate that, because really it should be needed, because it should be said to it should be aware about the students that we need to understand that each and every field is very good and it has many opportunities and we can excel in it. I really wanted this actually, because from everyone in my family I see it, and even in my friends circle I see that. I was like, they all wanted to do what other people want to do it, but for me, I wanted to do it something that the other people does not have that interest in it, or they're having different kind of mindset in it. I really want to do something like that kind of thing, and I really appreciate that he said this, and I'm really happy that someone understood me, because no one actually, really I'm saying this, no one said this point, and today I got that point, and I'm really happy that he said that. And it really, and a student is very confused in choosing a field. Really, he's very confused, and he said that when he was also taking that the starting like undergraduate program, even he thought so many things. That I'm talking about Dr. Uma Maheshwar's thing.
Yes. So thank you, Mariam. Maybe you're not the only one. You can take a reference from Western culture. A lot of Western people do what you are trying to do. Like you are not doing Indian, just a traditional Indian thing. So you're good. Yeah.
No, because no one has that kind of thing. Every student nowadays, I'm saying that it is not about the thing, but nowadays it is happening like the same thing. Even I'm experienced that, because in my family also I'm experienced that this is the good thing, you need to go in this only. You are having like this kind of thing, but really, it is nice. Okay, and is there one more question I'm having? If I'm having talk if I am having the time to talk, can I have one question, please? Yeah, can I speak? Hello?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Can we have that in CSE, which course might be good? Which course might highlight the things, and which course might have the so much of advantages? I want to know it in detail about CSE the courses. Like AI machine learning, I think who said this? OMG Pandey said this, I think. It is a very good course, and many students can excel in it. But sir, many students does not have like that kind of mindset, right, to achieve in AI and MI, because he should have like that kind of mindset, because some might be good in computers, or some might be good in this kind of electronics, or some might be good in other fields, but they should have like the kind of mind, I mean that kind of energy and the power to understand the thing, because it's not easy to get through it.
So loud.
Yes, I was. Was I clear when I say these things?
Continue yourself.
Yeah.
So this question is to whom?
To you only, sir. OMG Pandey. Sir.
Okay, to me. Okay. Yeah. So actually, what the question from you I received, you were telling that at the early stage, the student will not be able to understand that in which domain he should go,
yes,
and which will be helpful for him. Is it right?
Yeah, that is correct. But the second question was mine of what you were saying that AI and MI you have choices in that also, and you were saying in electric also you are having the choices, in mechanical also you are having the choices. In mechanical part, I think there might be I think junctions will be there. I don't know what kind of parts we need to study in that. I don't know, in mechanical and civil there are so many things. But in AI, I think there will be lot of energy and lot of mind capacity is needed in that course in AI and machine learning. You understanding my question, sir?
Can you repeat once more? Actually, I'm not able to understand. Can you repeat once more?
I'll just give you a brief explanation what I meant to say. Okay, I'll say it. In AI and MI, there is lot of energy and lot of mind power is needed in that. Like there is more kind of determination, I think, more kind of you need to understand there's so many things. But a student, some students can't get through it. A student, he might be interested in that, but he can't get through it. You're understanding, sir?
Yeah, I'm understanding. And so now I will try to explain. The question what you are asking, if I will go in detail to explain the answer, it will be difficult to understand, because see, you are just asking that to understand the applications of machine learning and artificial intelligence is quite complicated, and at the early stage it will be difficult to understand, right?
Yes. I want to say that only.
Yeah. So how I should answer this question? It is like if I will go to in detail, I will go in more technical. So that is a problem. But I'll just explain you what I will try my best to explain you. So what you are basically understanding about artificial intelligence and machine learning. What is the understanding from this? So understanding is like from the environment itself, you are trying to learn something, right? From the environment itself, you are trying to learn something. So for that purpose, you are trying to develop some model. And those models will be trained, and after that, when you are giving it test data to that particular system, you will be able to execute the process. So I'm not going into more detail. So what I just want to tell you that there is a myth that artificial intelligence and machine learning, they are very complicated. They are not like that. They are very simple things. You have to just, what I can say, you have to just join us, and you enjoy the journey. You will feel, you will enjoy. So at this stage, I can tell you that much, not more than that. And if you want to understand more, I will suggest you that, of course, in your relatives or in your friends, somebody will be, of course, there who is working, because the entire world is working on this.
Yeah, that is the only point. Yes, sir. Because really, I get it, because AI and machine learning, there are so many kind of things. In every aspect, I see this AI and machine learning, there are so many things. I understand about it. But sir, what is the courses like? What is it involved? Physics is involved, I think, and then chemistry is involved in it.
Actually, chemistry. I should not say, I should not comment that chemistry is involved or not. But yes, of course, I will tell that mathematical model or framework will be there. And it is not a kind of, you should not feel like it is a pressure. You should enjoy those models. You should enjoy. When you will come to work, you will enjoy. Even you will not believe, sometimes in nights I will not be able to sleep when I will be stuck with some problems. So I just want to say only that you enjoy the journey. Not like it take a burden. That is, it is a machine learning, I have to do that. It is not like that. You have to do because it is machine learning and entire world is going to apply this.
Yes.
So just to add to Dr. Omji, so the base of machine learning AI ML is linear algebra. That is where you start with. Okay. Yeah. So you have a matrix multiplications, matrix vector multiplications that you have learned.
Yeah,
so that is the heart of it. Okay. But
that is very easy also, I think.
Okay, but easy to compute by hand when you are having 3 by 3 matrices. But if you are having a 10,000 by 10,000 by 10,000 matrix, that is where the complexity of AML is. So even if you take a picture, each pixel is, you can take a photo, and each pixel is a number. If you think of it, then that's a matrix. So if you are having 1,000, how much you are trying to look at 4K resolution these days, or 8K. So you are having those many pixels. So you take that, and that is one matrix, and you'll have another matrix. You need to compute those things for a long time. That is the heart of AML. That's where I can put it.
Okay, that is the thing. Really, I got confused about this. What is it? Machine learning, AI, I think robotics. We need to make it. I was very confused about it. We need to make a robot, how it works, we should show it. I was really confused.
No, we'll take this matrix multiplication, then we are going to train one model, which is nothing but you are making it intelligent to make decisions. So that is what artificial intelligence and machine learning is. See, like you teach a kid how to walk. So initially they will try to fall, they'll get up, and then we'll hold them hand. So that is the training procedure. So, and then after that they will land. Yes.
What you were saying, I said, I did not get it.
Yeah.
Dr.
So
Pramod.
first thing is you are going to train a model and then make it intelligent enough so that when a new thing comes in,
It will be a machine. We are talking about a machine.
Not a machine. It's just a
Voice is not clear.
Yes.
Thank you. Another participant, Vinita. Vinita, ask your question. Unmute yourself.
Hi, I'm Vinita. This question is for Dr. Uma Maheshwar sir. Sir, I'm interested in civil engineering, but my relatives saying it's not better for girls. What should I do now? Is it really true?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Vinita. So what you need to do is definitely your relatives or the society around you, they might have limited information, right? So if you're really interested in civil engineering, then you need to explore what exactly it is and try to educate those relatives. And you need to work towards it, right? Because if you without that proper information, you cannot convince them. So obviously, as a girl, there are opportunities for girls as well in civil engineering. Like many girls also work inside, but if you don't like inside, there are also office jobs. You can work in the office, like environmental engineering has a lot of office side jobs, and also in structures you can do some estimations and costing. Back to that in a other way, but try to see how you can convince. So maybe provide them more information and try to get some right resource to get them educated. And first of all, make yourself confident that you are doing right thing. All right. So these are the points you need to work on and make your plan implemented. Good luck, Vinita. Thank you.
Vinita, thank you, sir. Sir, any suggestion for students, sir? So 1 minute, sir. Another participant is here. Ravi Shankar. Ravi Shankar, unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello.
మీ క్వశ్చన్ అడగండి. మీకు ఏదైతే డౌట్ ఉందో ఆ డౌట్ ని క్లారిఫై చేసుకోండి. ఎక్స్పర్ట్స్ ఉన్నారు, క్లారిఫై చేస్తారు మీ డౌట్ ని. రవిశంకర్, సో అన్మ్యూట్ చేసుకొని మాట్లాడండి. రవిశంకర్, నా వాయిస్ వినిపిస్తుంది కదా మీకు? సో పార్టిసిపేట్ కూడా ఉన్నారు. వినీతా కట్ట మాట్లాడండి, మీ డౌట్ అడగండి. అన్మ్యూట్ చేసుకొని మీ డౌట్ అడగండి. వినీతా, సో సార్,
I have already cleared my doubt.
Okay, thank you, Vinita. Thank you. Another participant. Fine. Sir, any suggestions for students, sir, for your side?
I think one suggestion I would like to give after this discussion. So there is a lot of confusion to understand various engineering courses, I guess. Like I said, there is a lot of basic information with a lot of animations and real world pictures on the YouTube. Please go ahead and explore that. And maybe if you really want to implement what you want, then you need to work on finding some right resources. Maybe there is, especially there is a lot of the digital media nowadays is giving access to you the entire world. But the only thing is, first you need to decide and you need to work on what you want and finding the right resources. Maybe it takes help of some seniors or somebody in your relatives, some things like that. So that's what I want to give you, because if some of you are interested in exploring engineering careers. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, Omji Pandey, sir, for your side?
Yeah, I have, I think, given.
Sir.
Yeah, I have given enough input, I think, and only the thing is that you should, to the students, I'm saying that you should not listen to your neighbor, you should listen to your heart, and you should explore as plenty of information is available on the YouTube and other places, and accordingly you choose your career. It is not like that Ram is also selecting, then some will also go for that. Okay, so you just like listen the voice from your heart, and accordingly you go for it. And at each domain, plenty of opportunities are there.
Right. Thank you, sir. Sir, Somi, sir, for your side, sir, any suggestions?
See, as rightly mentioned by all the speakers, I'd just like to add, beyond computer science, there are immense opportunities. That is where the life begins. You see things around. I'm an electrical engineer. I get fascinated by 400 kV transmission lines. Higher than that, I usually work in 3. I get very much excited for features like lightning and stuff like that. There's civil engineering. There is infrastructure around. There is mechanical machines around. All the electronic equipment. These are things which you can feel, which you can understand. I'll not say unlike computer science engineering. So the thing is, if you want to feel, if you want to learn, if you want to explore, that is where these branches pitch in. And you contribute immensely to development of infrastructure of the nation. That is wherein you directly pitch in. And the branch choice, I always say, follow your heart. That's when you'll grow and succeed and shine in your career, as also mentioned by other speakers. That's it, ma'am, from my end.
Sir, thank you so much. And sir, Dr. Pramod Zami, sir.
Okay, so I think all of us have covered on a similar lines. The only thing is that people think that computer science are the only ones who can program and who can do well, or who can have a career in programming. However, based on my personal experience and many others whom I can see, even though I am a mechanical engineer, I have not done much of laboratory work in the last 10 years after my education. That's what I can say. However, most of my work is into using computers and using the latest machines as well. You can actually simulate flow or an airplane or flow inside. I'm speaking from mechanical engineering. You can simulate how your laptop cools. For that, you need mathematics, mechanical engineering, and heat transfer than computer science. So for that, it is immense opportunities you have. Like all of us were saying, you follow your heart, and if you are interested in programming as well, computer science is not the only branch. Every other branch, computer science, you do computer programming. So that's what I would like to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Can we close the session, sir, now? Do you have any information, sir?
I think so. I think it is scheduled up to for 1.5 hours, right? I think
we have gone beyond that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think unless we have any other questions from audience, I guess.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all the participants and guests for participating in Sakshi webinar. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Not తీసేసేనా ఫస్ట్
Do you have the hunger to build your dreams, to make them come alive, to challenge yourself, and to evolve as a champion. Welcome to SRM AP.
It wasn't long ago when I joined SRM AP. It was my first day about 3 years ago when I stepped my first foot on this campus, extremely nervous and confused about how my life is going to shape in this university. However, I was astonished by the people that I met on campus, people that come from such diverse backgrounds, people that have done so much, and all of them share one love for technology.
It's like for every 10 students, there's one faculty, which helped us develop a bond with the faculty and led to personal mentoring.
From internationally trained faculty to world-class infrastructure and practical learning curriculum, SRM AP is the one right stop to shape your future. The students from our maiden batch have emerged as successful entrepreneurs, launching RI.ai with an investment of about $120,000.
SRM has given us a plethora of opportunities for us to pursue. From startup semesters at UC Berkeley to multiple international hackathons, that has helped us travel the world and reap the benefits of a large network and really get out there and put ourselves and make a mark.
There are students who are building industry level projects right out in college in the first and second years. I haven't seen people outside who probably build this scale of projects and actually get this executed and deployed in industry.
Getting a job at PVP Japan, a strategic partner of Google Japan, was really a dream come true. The curriculum at SRM University AP is a perfect blend of both theory and practical knowledge. They mold us from being mere students into very good professionals. We were the first cohort from SRM AP to visit the University of California, Berkeley. Then we started participating in competitions and hackathons. We were winning against students from Harvard, Stanford, MIT, students from UC Berkeley itself. And these experiences made us break down all our mental barriers.
We provide a wide range of opportunities for our students and facilitate them to pursue higher studies at top QS ranking universities across the globe with scholarships.
I am Sriharsha.
I am Rahul.
Hi, this is Harini.
I got an admitted New York University with a scholarship of $16,000.
I got admitted to University of Michigan with a $26,000 scholarship for my whole course.
I have got admission in University of Texas Arlington.
Everybody has something to offer here. Everybody has ambition. SRM AP acts as a catalyst to your passion, be it entrepreneurship, higher studies, or placements.
Here at SRM AP, you can be whatever you want to be. If you are a dreamer, this is the place where your dreams are nurtured and encouraged.
SRM AP. Embark on the avenues of excellence.